Let's continue functions. So in the functions, we can maintain the documentation. Okay, that is called docstring. Let me just comment over this part. So if you are defining a function, like same we have seen, right? Addition, okay, a comma b, you have to use triple quotes, 1, 2, 3, then enter. You see something has come automatically. So this is how the documentation is maintained of a function which is called docstring. Whatever parameters we are using here, it come like this. So here we should tell, okay, um, takes two integer values and return their sum. Okay, you can say integer. What integer? Return integer, which is sum of two input numbers. This is how we maintain the documentation of a function in real time also. This is very important. Because of this documentation only, when we execute that help or dir commands, right? Um, help list dot append, right? You see, I just put a pause. You can't leave a function blank like this. Okay, at least one statement should be there. And if you don't want to do anything, you can just put a pause. Now you see we got some documentation, right? Append object to the end of the record. This is something they maintained in this append method. Okay, method is nothing but a function.
సారీ.
Yeah.
నాకు ఒకసారి నెట్వర్క్ లాస్ట్ అయింది. ఒక్కసారి కమె డాక్ స్ట్రింగ్ తర్వాత రిపీట్ చేయరా?
Okay, sure.
ఇక
So,
ట్రాక్ మిస్ అవుతా.
parallel. So we need to maintain this doc string, okay, for what do you call making the code understanding easy, and this is how it is maintained in Python itself. So when we look at this, okay, help function, right, of list and append, we get some help, right? Whatever you see here, append object to the end of the list. This is the doc string they maintained for this method in Python. That is how we are getting it. Okay. And now let's see if we give our function what we get. You see what we got? We got whatever we are giving in the doc string. If somebody want to take help and see what your function is doing, so whatever we are adding in the doc string will come here.
ఓకే.
But pass ఎందుకు ఇచ్చావు శరత్?
It is like
Even
dummy.
లేకపోతే
No, it will fail. Expect at least one statement. So when you want to
Ach-
define some function and leave it right, you can just put a
Hmm.
pass.
Yeah, I know the pass, but ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు ఇచ్చావో అర్థం కాలేదు యాక్చువల్లీ.
No, we are defining a function. Function need at least one statement. If you don't give
Okay,
this, right, there it is an incomplete function.
okay, got it.
I don't know how it's still executed, but pass should be there. That is a best practice we follow. When you are defining empty function, but you want to fill it later, you put a pass and leave it. But surprisingly, it's not failing. Okay, so next,
సో మామూలుగా
hmm,
కామెంట్స్ రాసేటప్పుడు 3 కోలన్స్ కానీ
hmm.
హ్యాష్ కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తాం కదా.
Dark string should always be in triple quotes.
కోడ్స్ అయినా హ్యాష్
That
కూడా.
is what dark string. Yeah.
ఓకే.
అందుకే మనం డాక్ ట్రిపుల్ కోట్స్ ఇచ్చి ఎంటర్ కొట్టగానే ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఇది వచ్చేసింది మనకి పారం ఏ పారం బి రిటర్న్ అనేది బికాస్ దట్ ఈస్ ద డాక్ స్ట్రింగ్ ఫార్మాట్. And I was telling methods, right? List has append method, or extend method, pop method, right? Method is
Mhm.
nothing but a function. But why it is called a method? Because that belong to a class. Okay, we will cover more on oops, but you may have this question why sometimes I'm calling method, sometimes a function, right? Method when it is inside a class. So append is a method of class list. That is why we call method. But here addition is a function. The same way help is a function because it does not have any class. Sorted is a function, length is a function, right? That
So,
is how we call them in real world. Sorry. So
so
but
What is the
yeah,
point in? Go ahead, Bharat. Go ahead.
yeah. So, I mean, I remember in SQL
hmm,
method we don't pass values. So I see for append we are not passing any parameters. So is it in the same lines?
sorry, for which one we are not passing the
So
values?
we are not passing any parameters for method. Append is a method which is same like function. We are not passing any arguments.
No, right? We will, right? So when I want to add a new item to my list, right? Equal to one, two. If let's say if I want to add new one, right? What I do? That append. I pass this, right? Three.
Okay, but it is still called method.
Huh, it is still called method because it is part of a class. What is the class? List is a class. For now,
Okay,
just
okay.
just understand method is belong to a class which is
List
also a
class.
function.
Oh, it doesn't. It's not like it belongs to a list class, right?
It is.
It
Up,
belongs to a class. Okay.
append belongs to a class called list.
Append belongs to a class called list, but methods there are many which belongs to different classes.
Correct. So if you take
Okay.
tuple method, right? Tuple also has a method. Okay. What method? Sort, not sort. Tuple is not having any such methods, no? Like if you can take set, right? Set has a method called add. That belong to only set.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think when you go there,
Yeah.
when we go to the topic, we'll get
Correct,
there.
correct. Yeah. When I cover oops, right? Then you will understand everything better.
Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Venu has a question.
Ha, Venugar.
uh, ఇప్పుడు ఇది actually can you show me the output? Just comment a number. Okay.
Okay.
So
You
what exactly we're doing? We're just seeking a help of what is the addition function, right?
This is a documentation we are maintaining of our function. See, now we have seen help for our existing list of methods, right? And we are getting
Mm-hmm.
some help. And you are writing a function and you want to share some documentation about it, what my function does. If somebody want to
Okay.
look at it and understand, right?
So this is just for a
It
documentation
is
purpose,
documentation.
not for the
It is not a
any
code. It
addition
is not a
function.
code. It is not a code. It
But
is
then
just.
what is the point of using AB in the parenthesis?
No, I want to write the function, but I'm just showing how we write a
Okay.
doc string. See, in this case, this is not required. Okay, what
Not
if
required.
I,
That is what I
huh,
thought. Like maybe we can also use for some really call the function. So it's not just not for arithmetic calculation, just
yes, yes,
for a
yes,
documentation.
yes, yes. Basically, I'm trying to explain how we maintain the documentation of a function.
Okay. Can we use for multi-purpose documentation as well as for returning a response?
Huh. See, documentation is just a commenting we are using on top of, I mean, just of the function. If you are
Okay.
not doing anything under the function, this does not make any sense, right? See, now what I
Mm.
am telling, it takes two integer values and return their sum, right? If I don't have these statements, whatever I am telling is false, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So it should have code and our doc string should explain what my code is doing.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. Okay. So
So ఈ param B అనేది mandatory like values ఇవ్వడము.
see, you
I mean like
can, it's not mandatory. Whatever you give, it will take.
I mean, are we going to use those values in anywhere, like,
See,
param?
it is a documentation, right?
Okay.
Somebody can just look at it and read. That's all they can do. It is not
Okay.
executable code.
But if I remove that thing, it doesn't make any
No,
issue, right?
no.
Okay.
It's in your control. If you want to
Yeah.
not to have a doc string, it is fine. If you want to have only one line, that is fine. It's
Okay.
up to you
Understand.
how you want to maintain. But that is a
Yeah.
standard how it maintained in Python.
Understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mm. This is about docstring. Okay.
In code, one more question, sorry. You gave a single quote, but I see it's a triple star.
You can use it. Docstring should be in triple quotes, triple single or triple double. That's up to you.
Oh, there's a double quote. Huh? I see
Huh.
it's a star.
It is single
It's not
quote.
the. Oh, okay, okay, got it. It's a double quote.
Oh,
Okay, I
I
see them as a star.
I forgot. I completely forgot. Okay. Hmm.
నేను అర్థం పెట్టుకోవాలి.
Okay. So now next. Okay, we have seen docstring. Next, let's see something called arbitrary parameter, arbitrary positional parameter. It is similar to positional parameter, but there is a slight change. Let's see what is that. Okay. So now I am defining a function. Um, what should I do? Okay. Numbers and um, let's say A, B, C. What I need to do? I need to return square of them. Return A square, B square, C square. Okay. I'm just calling this int numbers 3, 4, 5. Let me execute. Now you see we got the square. Now my requirement, I don't know how many parameters my user is going to pass. I don't have control on it. For whatever number of parameters or number of arguments user is passing, I have to calculate square and return. That is the requirement. Okay. In such cases, we use arbitrary positional parameter, which means single star args. Args is again a variable name. You can name it anything, but args is the standard name we use in Python. I'm just repeating. You have to use a star, then variable name, whatever you want to use. This is called arbitrary positional parameter. So what it does, how many ever parameters or arguments you are passing, everything will come to arguments. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's print args and see what it is. Star is not part of the variable name. Okay. Star is a indication of arbitrary positional parameter. Now I am just printing args. You see how my print has come? It has come as tuple. Okay. So whatever you are passing parameters, everything come as a tuple to args. And why are we using star? Star is called unpacking. We have seen unpacking already, right? So whatever parameters are coming here, it is unpacked in this function. So when I am passing 3, my function is getting 3 parameters. When I am passing 4, my function is getting 4 parameters. Now, how can I iterate through each item and get square? That we know already, right? I can just do comprehension for I in args. We got same, right? 9, 16, 25. Now I am passing, let's say, 4 values. Okay, let me just execute for multiple. I am passing only 2. I am passing only 3. So now for whatever arguments you are passing, we are going to get the result. That is the power of the arbitrary positional parameters. So when you don't have control over number of arguments, use this and then you loop over this to get how many parameters you have. Any doubts here? Similarly, we have arbitrary keyword parameters. So same way, let's say I am just um, what's length? I'm just putting something. For arbitrary keyword, right, it is double star. For arbitrary positional, it is single star. And the name we use KWARGS. This is the standard name, but you can use any name. Keyword arguments. It is just ARGS. So now you can print KWARGS. Okay. Now let's pass something to this. So how do we pass keyword parameters? We know, right? So now here there is no defined parameters as such. You can pass anything in the keyword way. Now I am telling, let's say name. Okay. Then I can say age 50. Now let's see how this will turn out. You see what we got? It is a dictionary. So whatever you are passing will come as a dictionary. Name equal to Abdul Kalam, age equal to 50. So now how do you make use of dictionary? We all know. If you want to get name, right? You can just use name. Similarly, you can use age. And whatever you want to do with those parameters, you can continue to do. This is what we printed, Abdul Kalam 50. So now let's say if you want to get the length of both, right? Ln you can get the length of the name and you can also get the length of the age. Okay, length will not work for string, sorry, integer. But let me just see. Int has no length. Okay, so I can just pass it as a string so that I get length also for age also. Why we did not get anything? Because I'm not printing this. I should print or assign to a variable and print it. Now we got 11 and 2. That is how we can make use of this KWARGS and ARGS, arbitrary positional parameters and arbitrary keyword parameters.
Question there.
Yeah.
Okay. వాయిస్ క్లియర్గా ఉందా ఫస్ట్?
Clear on.
ఓకే. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి వర్డ్ లెంత్లో కీస్ వచ్చేసి నేమ్ అండ్ ఏజ్,
Hmm.
కరెక్ట్?
Hmm.
We know that name and age are keys. That's
Correct.
when we are using రిటర్న్ లో నేమ్ ఏజ్.
Correct.
బట్ మనకు తెలియనప్పుడు ఎలా చేస్తాం ఇది?
For loop.
నేమ్
For K, V, N, KWARGS. You will, sorry, items. Dot items. You are looking over everything, whatever you are having. It depends on your requirement, whether you want to go by single name or you want to do everything,
సో
right?
ఓకే.
So let's say I'm just
సో
putting
ఫస్ట్ కే వచ్చేసి కీ అవుతుంది,
V వచ్చేసి value అవుతుంది.
పొజిషన్ బట్టి.
Huh. So we can even do just list comprehension of this also. We don't need to see now we don't have any dependence on key, right? It's just values, right? So I don't need all this. I just need return, right? Length of I for I in KWARGS dot values. Now we are just checking length of only values, right? So I can just take the values alone and just take length and you got the length. No, and what we need to understand, this will come as a dictionary. So now you know what how to play with the dictionary. So, it depends on your use case, you play with that.
Okay.
And
Good.
together is also it is there, both arbitrary and arbitrary positional parameters and arbitrary keyword. Both also you can do. Mm, I'm just keeping something star args star star kwargs, which means if you are passing any uh, positional parameters, they come as args, and if you pass any keyword arguments, they come as kwargs. Let's say I'm just passing 1 2 3. After that, name equal to, so if I just print, you get both. This is keyword arguments because we passed name equal to, and before that we got arbitrary positional arguments, that is 1 2 3. You will be seeing this the star args and kwc args in existing modules or existing functions. I'll show later about these two in existing functions. Okay,
Okay.
so that's about arbitrary. Any doubts, let me know, otherwise we'll jump to next topic. Recursion. Okay, function recursion. What is mean by that? Self calling. A function will call itself, that is called function recursion, and this can, you may get this in interviews also. Okay, so now let's say what is my requirement is recursion. I'm just passing a number, let's say n. So what I want to do is, let's say I'm passing 6. So what I want, right? I want uh, 6, my 6 square, let's say 6 square plus 5 square plus like 4 square till 0. That is what I want, total sum. When I pass 6, I just want 6 into 2 plus 5 into 2, like this. Okay, now how can I achieve that? Let's say uh, if n is greater than 0, okay, then my result will be uh, n square, right? N into 2. But with that it is not ended, right? Plus n minus 1 into 2, right? Plus n minus 2 into 2. So like that, till where I should go? Till n minus whatever becomes 0, right? So I need to do the same thing again and again, right? So if my result is this one, plus I want to do remaining things, right? I can just self call this function. It is little confusing, but let me execute the code, you will understand it better. Else result equal to 0. What it says, expected int but got none instead. Let me execute function recursion. I'm passing, let's say 6. Let me print this.
Maybe 66.
Unsupported plus none type. How come I'm getting none type? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not returning anything, right? Return result. Save. So now we got 42, right? So let takes a small number first, then we go to big number. Num3. Okay, what happened here? 3 has come here, right? First if condition 3 greater than 0, and in the first call what happened here? result equal to 3 square, that is 9, right? After 9, what I'm doing? I'm calling the same function with what value? I am calling the same function with value 2, right? So now what I get here? 9 plus, okay. Now next function call happening with the 2, right? So with the 2, what is happening? 2 is greater than 0, right? So it will come here. 2 into 2, it becomes 4, right? 4 plus. Again, next call to the function happens. Next with 1. Okay. Now third call is happening to the function with 1. 1 is greater than 0. So 1 square becomes 1, right? So what happens now? Here I get 1 plus next call happens with what? 0, right? Now when our function is called fourth time with 0, this condition is failing, right? It comes here. How much it is? 0, right? So finally this becomes what? 0. Now if you add this 4, how much it become? 14. I think that is what our output, right? 12. Where is the problem? Okay, I passed 3. 3 square. Oh, it's not square, my bad. It is 3 into 2. 6.
Yeah, double star ఇవ్వాలి కదా.
Correct. So now 6 plus 4 plus this is 2 because it is not square, it is multiplication, right? 1 into 2. This is how we got 12. So you understand how it is calling itself. This is called recursion. We are just calling it inside it only. Shall I repeat?
So this
One.
the yeah, understood. Question is this virtual
Unclear
the
feeling.
memory reference, how it gets stored. It assigning already with the result, or it's some referring some temp location.
It will just store this in the temp location, right? I mean
Okay.
the functionality is not completed. No, it is just starting. Okay, first what I
It is
got
just
6.
going in the loop.
Huh,
So
correct. First 6, it
so
is there in memory location. Then next call
mhm.
happens. Again 4 comes.
It's not assigned to the result yet. It's just
Correct.
referring as some temporary memory location.
It actually starts from this
Hmm.
function 0, 0. Okay, then go to the 1. Then your result become 2, then 4, then 6. Like that you are getting 12.
Hmm.
So where we use this recursion, right? In real time, the use case I have seen. Let's say you have a folder which contains a folder and some files. Again, folder inside a folder, again files. So if you want to get, right, all the files in a folder, so what you do, right? Okay, you might have heard this word crawler. CRAWLR. This is what used in real time. It will go through each folder inside and get you everything. Okay, just assume I am passing a one path, folder path, main folder path, right? So if there is something called now forget about how we get. Okay, I'm just now listing uh, whatever inside this. Okay, so if it is a list, we have to go with for loop, right? For I in list of folder path. So I get all the subfolders, everything, right? Now let's say we are collecting all the files, right? This is the um, let me assign this in outside output equal to, let's say, empty dictionary. So what I do, if I is equal to file, then what I do, I will append this to my output. Else what I am getting, I am getting a folder again, right? So here I can just call the same thing with whatever I, that is a folder I got, right? So if I do this, the crawling will happen and it will find everything inside it. I will show this again with actual working code, okay, how it is going to check with a recursion, get all the files. But I'm just wanted to highlight the real use case where we use the recursions. And it is high chance that you will get this in interviews also. What is a recursion? Self-calling. If they want ask you to write small code, you can just write this. So that's about the recursion. You try practicing it, okay? Um, you get better understanding of it. And real time, we don't use too much, okay? We use rarely, maybe at like 10% of the cases we use, not much. Okay, now let's go to the next topic. Parameters passing mechanism. So we have seen, right, all whatever positional keyword, everything, right? So there is a two different mechanisms. Let me show you that. How do we pass the parameters? Okay, first one is pass by value. Second one is pass by reference. When I say reference, memory location. We are just passing the memory location to the function. Okay. Now let's define same thing, right? Uh, Addition only. Let's take. I'm passing two numbers, a comma b, and I'm just printing a. Sorry, a. Then I'm just a equal to a plus 10. Then I'm returning a plus b. Okay. Now I have two numbers, a equal to 5, b equal to 6. I'm just printing addition of 2, that is a comma b. Now let's see the result. We got how much? 21. That is expected, right? Because I'm adding plus 10 to a, that is how I got 15 plus 6, 21. So now how the parameters or arguments pass to this function, right? I have printed a inside, right? How much it is? 5. Okay, because 5 passed from here. Let me print after assigning 10. Ideally a should become 15 because we are adding 10 here. And let me print a now after our function and see what happened. You see what happened now? Inside our function I added 10 to my a. It has become 15. That is what we see here. 21 is some that you can ignore. And after calling the function, we are printing a again. But my a is remain 5 because we passed a integer which is immutable and the parameter was passed by the value. Only the value was passed, not the memory location. That is what passing by value. We just passed 5 to this function and the 5 was used, and this a is a local variable to this function, and that a has become 15 and we printed that. But our global a is remain 5 because the value was only passed, not the reference. This is called passing by value. Now let's see passing by reference. Okay, now let's say um, what I do. I'm just keeping. Okay, I'm just keeping some numbers here. What is I'm expecting, right? I'm expecting a list A. So what I do here, I do append, I'm adding 10, then I'm just returning A. Now let's me pass a list and let me print A here and let me print A before I call the function and after I call the function. It is showing redefined above without usage. Okay, that is because of this A where I'm using it. Can only concatenate list A equal to A plus 10. Okay, let me comment this code. Addition is not defined. Where am I calling it? Yeah. And there is no B, right? So I have to just pass only A. Okay, now you see what happened. We printed A, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then it passed to function. In the function, I appended a 10, value 10, and I printed. So the 10 is appended. We got this. And I returned it and I printed again. So I got the same thing from the function. These two are from the function. Then at the end, outside the function, I printed A again. And you see A is changed. Here it actually passed by the reference. That is called passing by the reference. So I can show you by printing the ID also. Let me show you printing ID here and here. You see it's the same memory location. That is called passing by reference. It happens for the immutable objects. Sorry, mutable objects. Pass by value happens for the immutable objects which cannot be changed, like string, integer, tuple, all those things, right? They will just go by the value, and whatever mutable such as list, dictionary will go by the reference.
అంటే ఇక్కడ A is acting as a global variable, huh?
This A, no, it's not acting as a global variable. We this whatever list was passed to this function by a memory location. Okay, it was not copied. It was not a new copy that was passed to the function. It is just a memory reference. Okay, so A got the same memory location what we had initially, and in the same memory location I added 10 in my function. So when something changes in the memory location, whatever is pointing to that memory will be affected, right? That way this A is getting affected because it was passed by the reference. But in first case it was passed by the value. If I just uncomment and print the ID, right?
ఎగ్జాంపుల్ శరత్
Yeah,
ఇక్కడే మీరు ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ఏ ప్లస్ 10 చేసిన తర్వాత రిటర్న్ ఏ కొట్టినా అది కూడా సేమే కదా.
return equal to A plus B.
ఓకే, అచ్చా, రిటర్న్ ఏ ఇవ్వలేం కదా ఇక్కడ.
ఇక్కడ
ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ఏ ప్లస్ వేసిన తర్వాత జస్ట్ ఏ రిఫరెన్స్ని రిటర్న్ చేయలేం కదా మనం అక్కడ.
చేయొచ్చు కదా.
లేం.
మనం సమ్ చేస్తాము కానీ
అవును, సమ్ లేకుండా ఇప్పుడు A ప్లస్ B ప్లస్లో ఏ ఒకటి ఇస్తే ఏమొస్తుంది?
See, you are just returning a new value of A. Nothing else you are doing. See, imagine this 5 when it is a immutable object. When you are calling the function, a copy is going here. This is not affected in whatever you are doing. You are returning the same value A. It is not affected, and you can reassign here. Then yes, A equal to addition of A. You are actually reassigning the new value, right? Got it?
Okay.
సో ఇక్కడ బికాజ్ సెకండ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్‌లో మనం లిస్ట్ తీసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి
Yes, it goes by the
ఇట్స్ ఏ
reference.
ఓకే.
మన దగ్గర కంట్రోల్ లేదు. We don't have any control. Python only does in the backend based on the data you are passing. Okay.
భయ్య ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేద్దాం ఒకసారి.
Okay. And see, this I have seen in interviews. Okay, they give the code like this. Okay, I have a equal to 5. I have a function a equal to a10. They will not even return anything. They will ask me, now tell me what is the a value after calling the function. This was the interview question. Okay, I'm just executing again. So a is having 5 6 in for the first function, right? um, I'm not printing anything. Okay, I'm printing only here. So 5 value has come here and 6 has come here, and 5 I am changing it back to 15, right? And I am returning it back to 15, and I am assigning that 15 again to a. That is why my a is changed. If I don't assign that to a, my a will remain 5 only. Let me not assign to a, just print. Okay, and let me print the memory location of both inside and outside. You see now, these are two different memory locations, and I did not print a. Let me print a. It inside it is this memory location, the value is 15. Outside it is this memory location, the value is 5. Both are different. And in the list case it is same if you see the memory location. So in the first case the pass by value happened. In the second case pass by reference happened.
సో లిస్ట్ ఎప్పుడే రిఫరెన్స్‌నే పాస్ చేస్తుంది బ్రో.
Because మన దగ్గర కంట్రోల్ లేదు కదా. We have written the same way both. Code wise there is no difference, right?
యాహ్!
But behind the scene how Python is doing is matter.
అదర్ దెన్ లిస్ట్ ఇంకేం చేయొచ్చు బ్రో ఇందులో?
Dictionary, whatever mutable object, set.
మ్యూటబుల్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ రైట్? ఓకే.
Let me try set and see what happens. Add, right? Save, execute. You see, same memory location both. And if I pass it tuple, and I can't do this operation. Tuple, so you cannot change anything, right? So it will remain same. It won't change. Yeah. And one last topic, that is scope of a variable. That is local or global. So now the same thing what we have just seen, right? Here in this example. Let me just comment this part. So here, whatever you variables you define outside the function, outside the classes, right? They become global variables. They are called, hello, I'm there, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. These are called global variables. So whatever we are using inside the function, right? They are called local variables to that function. Outside this function, you cannot use those variables. For example, let me change it to C. Okay, and I'm passing the C now. I don't want to pass rest. Now, because you defined A inside, right? Sorry, A inside, right? You cannot have A outside. If I try to print A, right? It is showing the error here itself, but let me execute. A is not defined because A is local to this. When I used this inside the function, you see it worked. ID was printed, right? But when you use it outside the function, it is not available because this is called a local variable. The scope is only local inside the function, and these are global variables. Okay, now let me change. Okay, I am passing C here, right? Now let me put something else. F equal to 90. Okay, let's say I am using F here. It will work because F is a global variable. Though I am not passing via my function, I can still access it because F is a global variable. It is available for all the functions to use. That is the other way around. You see, the code executes now 105. Outside, global variables can be used anywhere inside that. Local variables inside your function which cannot be accessed outside. And this was the reason why this was working differently, because we had one global A variable, one local A variable. Both are different. Okay. In even this can
Bro,
be
in
introduced.
that case,
Hmm.
in that case, ఏ లోకల్ ఏ గ్లోబల్ రెండు సేమ్ నేమ్తో ఉన్నాయి కదా,
Hmm.
బట్ రియల్ టైంలో అలాగే ఏదైనా
రియల్
ఉంటుందా
టైంలో అలా
లేదంటే?
వాడరు సేమ్ వేరియబుల్ నేమ్తో లోపల బయట, బట్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ వాడచ్చు కూడా. So we cannot control, right? Some developer
యా
will
యా
come and use same names. Yeah, but
నో
it
నో
is
ఐఎమ్
global.
ఆస్కింగ్ అబౌట్ ద స్టాండర్డ్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ.
Correct. Very rare, but used.
ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే కన్ఫ్యూజన్ లేకపోతే
Oh no,
ఈజీగానే
easy
అర్థమవుతుంది.
ఉంటుంది. Correct, correct, correct. Even right, we
లేదు.
don't use this A, B also same names, whatever outside global variables to avoid the confusions. We always keep different ones, right? Okay, now for some reason, okay, you don't have A now as a global variable, but you want to make it as a global variable. Okay, you can still make it using the global command, global A. Okay, I think we should tell this before, not after. Before assigning A, you just tell global A is used as a parameter and global. Okay, let's say I'm using some parameter E, and E I am creating here. If I don't make it global and try to access it right outside, it will fail. It failed because I'm using it inside the function which is just local variable, but I am trying to access outside. That's why it failed. If I want to make it a global, I can use this global command and say, okay, make this E as a global variable now. And then you assign that variable, right? It will be available. See now if I execute 105. This is also rare in real time because not that much used. Somebody want to make something global from inside a function is not a good practice. But in my current project, I have seen this. Got it, right? Local and global.
బ్రో ఇప్పుడు
Hmm.
ఇప్పుడు నా దగ్గర ఒక గ్లోబల్ వేరియబుల్ ఉంది
Hmm.
ఏబిసి,
Hmm.
అండ్ లోకల్ వేరియబుల్ ఉంది అది కూడా ఏబిసి.
Hmm.
నేను ఒక ఫంక్షన్ లోపల రెండు యూజ్ చేయాలి.
Okay. So, see, function lopala f is already global variable. You can directly use. There is no problem.
No, no, no. I'm specifically asking about the variable ABC name. అదే
ABC
వేరియబుల్ నేమ్ యాక్చువల్లీ.
నాకు అర్థం కాదు, మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేయవా?
ఇప్పుడు ఎఫ్ గ్లోబల్ ఉంది కదా,
అవును.
విత్ ఇన్ ద ఫంక్షన్లో కూడా యూ వాంటెడ్ టు యూస్ ద ఎఫ్ వేరియబుల్ అండ్ యూ వాంటెడ్ టు యూస్ బోత్ గ్లోబల్
No,
వేరియబుల్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్
no.
లోకల్ వేరియబుల్.
You only think logically how it is possible, right? You are telling your function, okay, ఇప్పుడు నేను ఎఫ్ ఇస్తా, ఎఫ్ వాడుకోమని చెప్తున్నా. గ్లోబల్ కూడా ఎఫ్ ఉంటే అసలు పైథాన్ ఎలా డిసైడ్ చేస్తుంది ఏది లోకలా ఏది గ్లోబల్ అనేది? సో
కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్
ఆల్వేస్
అయిపోతుంది.
ఆల్వేస్ ప్రిసిడెన్స్ టు ద లోకల్. ఫస్ట్
అదే
లోకల్.
నా క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటంటే అదే హౌ టు ఐడెంటిఫై దట్ ఇస్
అట్లా
దర్
ఐడెంటిఫై
ఎనీథింగ్
చేయలేం. నో వే.
లేదా? ఓకే.
ప్రెసిడెన్స్ టు ద లోకల్. సో మనం ఏం పాస్ చేస్తాం అదే తీసుకుంటది.
అదే ఈ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంది కాబట్టి జస్ట్ ఐ రైజ్ ఎ క్వశ్చన్.
గుడ్ పాయింట్. గుడ్ పాయింట్.